it's Corinne with Thompson RV in Pendleton, Oregon. Today I have another brand new floor plan. Super excited about this one because we have had a lot of requests for something like this. So remember the 24 RLS, which has been one of the best-selling outdoors RV floor plans since its inception? Well, this is the new 25 RLS in the Timber Ridge. So it is going to be 29 foot 9 inches tip to tip. So luckily it's still coming in under 30 feet. So it's only 1 foot 1 inch longer than the original 24 RLS. But what's really cool about this is now in place of these chairs, you can actually get the theater seating. Because there's enough depth from here to here, we can put in the theater seating, which we're going to do at the end of this video. So stick around if you want to see what this looks like with the theater seating in place of the chairs. The other difference that they made on this floor plan is going to be in the entertainment center. So previously with the 24 RLS, the cabinet wasn't deep enough to get the fireplace. Well, they extended that just a little bit to give you a little bit deeper cabinet, which now you can have a fireplace, which also adds a little bit of extra countertop to the left of the stove. Now that is where all of the changes are happening. It's going to be in this living area. So the bathroom and the bedroom are going to be identical to the 24, but this new 25 just has a few features here in the living area that are going to make it just a little bit longer to give you everything you've been asking for. So just like the 24 RLS, it's going to be a rear entry. You're going to have 2 entry doors. When you first walk in the entry right here, again, you're going to have your chairs or your theater seating. Because of the extra depth, on the 24 RLS, you do have to twist these chairs to get them out of the way. These are going to be easier to do that with. In fact, if you push them right up against the window, and I'll show you this when we put the slide out in, you're not going to have to muscle them around quite as much. When you walk in, you're going to have some of your controls right here at the entry door. So you're going to have buttons for your awning and your slide out, 12-volt heat pad for the freshwater tank. That's something that we option into all of our outdoors RV trailers. That's an option. And then you're going to have your auto leveling screen. So because this is a titanium, it's going to have quite a few features on it, well over a Mountain Series. So the Mountain Series doesn't have quite a few of the features that the titanium does. So auto leveling, which makes the trailer so sturdy that it almost feels like you're just in a house. So you're not getting that rocking like you would in a Mountain Series, but not to mention when you push a button, the whole trailer auto levels. You get fancier fiberglass, nicer windows, much nicer cabinetry, prettier interior colors, prettier interior finishes, a $1,200 upgraded mattress, 15K air conditioner with a digital thermostat, upgraded faucets and hardware. So there's a lot that comes on a titanium, and I'll mention a few of those things throughout the video, but I'll also link a video down below that shows you all of the features, in case I forget any, that you're going to get on the titanium series over a standard Mountain. One of those things too is going to be this little remote right here, so you can actually take this off the wall and you can walk around your trailer. So while you're putting out your slide out, rather than using this button right here, you can be outside and watch the slide out coming out to make sure you're not going to run into anything, as well as your awning, and then also your awning light. Then over here, you're going to have your gauges. So if you want to see how much water's left in your 80-gallon freshwater tank or how full your black and your gray tanks are, you can do that right here, as well as turn on your water pump and then your gas and electric water heater. You also have a 110 outlet right here for the kitchen, and then a flip-up countertop extension. One thing that's kind of cool about the 24 RLS and then this 25 RLS as well is you have all of this storage above the rear chairs. So 6 different doors. All of the titaniums are going to be trimmed out in wood, and then they're going to come with the slow rise blackout shades. Very nice feature to have, especially in the bedroom. Swivel rocker recliners. Again, we're going to show you what this is going to look like with the theater seating as well. You can't get the sleeper sofa, just so you know, because it would run into this cabinet. So the sleeper, I mean, you could, I suppose, get the sofa, but it won't make out into a bed. You could always put the sofa in here, it just wouldn't make sense for bed purposes. And then over here, you're going to get Outdoors RV's Mountain Dinette. So this is a huge table. So you can easily have 4 people sitting here and eating dinner, 4 dinner plates plus a big pot in the center. It's just a gigantic table, and then it's very sturdy. So they put those on fancy table legs from like the yachting industry, where obviously you're going up and down over waves and you don't want things sliding around on your table. Well, I suppose they could still slide around, but your table's not going to move. So they use the fancier table legs and table bases so that you have a nice rock solid dinette. They use high density foam for their cushions. And then on each side, you're going to have a nice deep drawer right here that's on ball bearing guides. And then you also have a latch to lock it when you're traveling down the road. You have big windows on each side of the dinette and they open. So that's important to note because I know a lot of off brands really try and save money by giving you, they might give you windows in the slide out, but they're not going to open, right? So Outdoors RV is always big on getting a good cross breeze. So both of these large windows do open. You have a skylight right here for additional daylight, but then you also have this little cover to keep it shut if you need it to be a little bit darker inside. Over here, like I said, they've changed to where you now have a little bit deeper cabinet so that you have the fireplace option. If you were to not get the fireplace option, you would have 2 doors right there and then just extra storage. You also have storage right here and then a charging station, so 12 volt and USB ports. Extra counter space, you have a 110 outlet back here behind the TV. And then cabinets above the TV as well. This is going to be a 12 volt TV, so you don't have to have a generator or plugins in order to watch television. Because this is a titanium, it's also going to come with a 12 volt TV in the bedroom that's 19 inches with a DVD player in the side. This one has a DVD player right down here below. This also is a stereo, so you can play CDs or you can Bluetooth your phone. You also have HDMI and USB ports right here. This also plays through the speakers inside as well as outside. So if you want to Bluetooth your phone, listen to music outside under your awning, you can do that right through here. And then the TV is also a smart TV. So if you have Starlink or internet of some kind, you can actually watch all of your favorite TV shows just streamed onto the smart TV. Coming around to the kitchen, you have a gigantic spice rack in this model. So right here in front of the sink, you have storage down below, tons of space down there where the bubble wrap is that you can put a garbage can. So that's a really large space, little extra space here. Flip up countertop extension. Single basin farm style sink like you're going to get in all of the Outdoors RVs. Stainless steel with the wire rack in the bottom. And like I stated earlier, the titanium series is going to come with the more residential style faucets in both the kitchen and the bathroom. So it's a single lever and it has the pull-out sprayer. Extra storage up above. And then the titanium also comes with stainless steel. So stainless steel microwave, your vent over your range, knife rack right here behind the stove, backsplash. And then one thing I really want to note is that you do not cook on the glass. You need to flip this open. This is just for extra counter space, right? So if you're not using the stove, you can have this down and prep on it. But as soon as you need to operate the stove, you're going to want to flip this back. And then you have a 3-burner gas range. So you're going to be cooking on this cast iron top right here. Extra large oven. And another one of the coolest features on the titanium is you no longer have to get down there and light your oven pilot. So this one has a direct spark ignition. Stainless steel pot and pan drawer below that. A bank of 3 drawers over here. An Outdoors RV uses solid hardwood drawer faces as well as heavy duty ball bearing drawer guides. Again, you're going to gain a little bit of extra counter space over here compared to the 24 RLS. You have another 110 outlet and then a little bit bigger space right up here. You're going to get the new 12 volt refrigerator in all of the Outdoors RVs, stainless steel in the titanium. And that's going to be a little bit over 10 cubic feet. The only thing about the 12-volt fridge is we do recommend, if you want a boondock, if you're staying in a park, no problem, right? You're just going to be plugged in. But if you want a boondock, we do recommend lithium batteries. So most of our customers are maxing out with 3 of the Battle Born 100 amp hour lithium batteries. Your pantry is going to be right here with an additional 2 drawers right down below. Thermostat, again, it's digital with the 15K air conditioner because this is a titanium. And then the bedroom is going to be exactly the same as it is on the 24 RLS. So you have your bedroom door. And one cool thing about the 24 RLS is going to be, the 25 RLS as well as the 24, is going to be this wardrobe cabinet right here. So you get a nice little coat closet with a removable shelf. So if you need to hang extra long items, you can remove the shelf. If you want a little more storage, leave it in. And then you have a drawer right down there below that. And then because this is a titanium, it's going to have the $1,200 upgraded mattress. So this is a memory foam mattress. It's an awesome mattress. It is soft enough yet firm enough at the same time. It's hard to explain. I loved it so much. My kids all have this mattress as well as myself at home. So we just bought the home version of this mattress, which we now are a retailer for. The titanium also gives you solid surface countertops next to the bed, under cabinet lighting next to the bed, as well as the reading lights. So they are a night light or a reading light, but the coolest feature is that they're directional. So you can point it onto your book and not into your partner's eyes. And then on each side of the bed, you're going to have a shirt ward. So that's on each side of the bed, and then storage up above as well. And then on all of our trailers here at Thompson RV, we're going to option in the Max Air Deluxe vent fans. So over the bed, because that would be a pretty hard vent to reach, we've given you a remote so that you can push a button and operate the fan. So 10 speeds, fully automatic. You can do air intake or air exhaust, and they have an elongated cover, so it's always covered even when it's open. So you can run the fan going down the road. You can run it in the rain. It keeps all of the dirt and debris and everything off of the interior vent screen as well. So now let's take a look at the bathroom, and then we can see what this looks like with the slide outs in. Then we'll walk around the outside, and then we'll show you what it's going to look like with the theater seating. Here in the bathroom, you're going to have another Max Air fan. This one's going to be 4 speeds exhaust only with a wall switch instead of the remote. You're also going to have an additional water pump switch. So if you hop in going down the road and you need to use the restroom and you forget to turn on the water pump switch at the entry door, it's no big deal. You can just turn on the water pump right here. I feel like this bathroom has a plethora of towel hooks. There's 2 here, 1 right here, and then another 2 right here on the skinny little section between the wall and the glass. Really, there's nothing you could do with that space, so they gave you some towel hooks, which is a great idea. You have the glass shower, and this is the Neo Angle shower. I always remember to mention the ceiling height when we get into the bathroom, but all of the outdoors RVs have a ceiling height of 6'11", which is really nice when you get into the shower, because then they're tall enough for some of you taller people. Plus, they give you an additional skylight overhead so that it gives you a little added headroom if you need it. Because it's a titanium, it's going to have the fancier hardware. So you have the adjustable shower head as well as the soap dish. And then you do have the little area if you need to put your leg up to shave your legs or something of that nature. And then as you can see, you have plenty of leg room. So when you're sitting on the toilet, you have lots of leg room right here in front of you. You're also going to have a cabinet down here below the sink, as well as another cabinet right over here where they have hidden the toilet paper holder. I really like it when they hide the toilet paper holder. I don't know what it is, but just having the toilet paper out just seems kind of silly to me. I like it when it's tucked away. You're always going to get a heat duct in the bathroom as well as an air conditioning duct, so the bathroom stays the exact same temperature as the rest of the trailer. And then because it's a titanium, you're going to get the solid surface countertops here in the bathroom as well as a stainless steel underslung sink and nicer hardware. That's one of those things, again, the titanium packs so many cool features, but in the mountain series, this is going to be Formica and it's pretty dark. So I like the colors on the interior of the titanium. So the table at the dinette is lighter, the fabric, the leather on the dinette is lighter, plus all of the lighter countertops, and the stainless steel, all of that really brightens up the trailer because they are continuing to use a really pretty dark wood cabinet. So all of the little features like stainless and lighter countertops that'll lighten it up really do help. Solid hardwood medicine cabinet. And then because it's a titanium, you're going to get the lit vanity mirror as well. When you have the slide out in and you are traveling down the road, you can access the entire trailer from either entry door. And although you could leave this rocker recliner facing the television, we did choose to twist it sideways, both of them. That way they're not going to rock. So if you have them up against the wall on each side, then you're not going to have the problem of the chair rocking and hitting the screen, possibly damaging the back of the chair. So if a person doesn't want to have to hassle with that, that's when the theater seating would come in handy because you don't have to touch a thing, right? So the benefit to having a rocker recliner is that you can move it and kind of do whatever you want with it. The benefit of the theater seating is that you don't have to do anything to it. And once they are allowing the theater seating as an option, right? So that's going to be on the next run. They're going to have a little magazine rack on each side of the theater seating. So we'll show you what it looks like with the theater seating in it, but it won't have those racks because that won't be until you order it with the theater seating. But like I stated earlier, the entire trailer is fully accessible from either the entry door or the front door. The only thing you can't access while going down the road is going to be the cabinet above and below the television. And here on the exterior of the 25 RLS, as I stated earlier, it's going to be a double entry door model. So at each entry door, you're going to have the torque lift glow step. That's the new step that Outdoors RV has been using. It's a 4-step, so it gives you a little bit less distance in between each step. Because it's a titanium, you're going to get the Lamelux 4000 high gloss fiberglass. So that's not just for looks. I mean, don't get me wrong, it absolutely looks beautiful and it's shinier and a thicker, higher grade of fiberglass. So it's actually a better quality fiberglass than what you're going to get on the Mountain Series, especially if you live somewhere with a lot of sunshine like we do here in Eastern Oregon. Your white-sided fiberglasses tend to get chalky if you don't cover them, wax them regularly, and take really good, extra good care of them, where the Lamelux 4000 is going to stay shinier for a lot longer with a little bit less maintenance. Now, if you can store it under cover, oh my gosh, this thing is going to look new for years. But it's not just for looks. It really, truly is a thicker, higher grade of fiberglass siding. You're also going to get the frameless dual pane windows. So all of the Outdoors RVs come with dual pane glass windows. So for extra 4 seasons package, right, they're going to give you insulated windows. But on the titanium, they're going to be the sleeker, better looking windows. And you get an elongated window in each of the doors. And then on the inside, you actually have a nice little blackout roller shade that goes on each door as well. So you can block the light coming in from those windows. At each entry door, because it's a titanium, you're also going to get chrome locks as well as baggage locks. And then you're also going to get the chrome grab bar handle. And then Outdoors RV, they are one of the only manufacturers in the RV industry that custom build their own chassis. So if you've read anything on the internet about certain brands, we won't name any names, having issues with frame cracking, you can rest assured that the Outdoors RV custom builds each chassis per floor plan. They're a stronger, better quality of chassis with better welds, and every floor plan has a specific chassis that goes with it. So on a rear lounge, you're not going to get the exact same frame as you would on a rear kitchen because those need to be weighted and gusseted differently. They also camber their chassis. So when they end up putting all of the walls and everything on, just like you see a semi truck with the arch, it's going to be the reverse. So when they put the walls on, you end up with a nice flat floor. They do a 4 seasons package that's second to none. So fully enclosed and heated underbelly, 2-inch thick walls, The entire slide out is also 2-inch thick bonded sidewalls, just like you would get on this. That's how they build their slide out as well. And then they have extra large roof trusses to fit in additional insulation. But everything is going to be up and enclosed. So on an outdoors RV, you're not going to look underneath and see a valve that's hanging down, you know, where it's going to freeze. So all of the little things that need to go into making a true Four Seasons coach, Outdoors RV has already thought of that. On top of their custom built chassis, you also get heavy duty axles. And then you're going to get what they call the Off-Road X4 suspension package. So that's going to be the MoreRide All-Trek 4000 suspension, heavy-duty shackles with bronze bushings, greasable zerts, and then KYB off-road shocks. Now, the off-road shocks aren't just for off-roading. They're also for traveling down the freeway. They help with any kind of body roll. And then on the Timber Ridge, you're going to get a 16-inch wheel with a Load Range E Goodyear Endurance tire. Right here, this is just going to be access and venting to your 10-gallon water heater that runs off of gas or electric. You have your outside speakers that, again, those can run off of the Bluetooth stereo inside, or you can pack CDs to listen to. I know everybody laughs when I talk about DVDs and CDs, but I still have huge collections, so my kids think it's fun to pack DVDs when we go camping, or CDs. Electric awning with a full metal wrap, so it protects the fabric in the sunshine. And then also that is fully electric, so you push a button and it goes out automatically, or you can use that remote. And Outdoors RV always uses the longest awning possible on each of their floor plans. Right here, this is where you're going to fill your 80-gallon freshwater tank. That's another thing that Outdoors RV does differently. Because they custom build their chassis, they can custom build bigger water tanks into all of their travel trailers. Here is access and venting to your furnace. Right here, you have a 110 outlet. And then right below that, you have a hatch that's going to lead to an LP quick disconnect, so you can hook up a fire pit or a barbecue. Another titanium feature that you're going to get is going to be side marker cameras with a backup camera as well. So a rear observation camera, I should say, because you can use it while going down the road. It's not just for backing up. Same with these side marker cameras. So those you can use when you're changing lanes, if you're in like a big city and need to change lanes and need to see what's around you. Insulated luggage doors with magnetic catches and double slam latches. And then this front compartment, everything is fully insulated as well, because this is going to be your nightstand and this is going to be under your bed, so it needs to have really good insulation. I've owned cheaper trailers years ago when I first started RVing, and the bed area was often drafty if they had this type of a front storage compartment. You never get that on an outdoors RV. They have extra insulation in the cap as well as under here, and then also the insulated baggage doors. Rubberized diamond plate flooring, so you can throw in your equalizer hitch, your bars, everything in here, and it's not going to scratch up cheap linoleum. Or I've even seen carpet in front compartments, which absolutely blows my mind. So this is the heavy duty rubberized flooring, just like they use in the toy haulers. This particular unit has one solar charge controller. So that means it has either the factory standard 400 watts of solar or 600 watts. Typically here at Thompson RV, we're going to stock ours with either 600 or 1,000 watts of solar. That way, if you do want to boondock, you have adequate solar on your roof. 600 watts is great for boondocking, I would say 80% of the year. 1,000 watts is really only necessary. It's going to be overkill for most people, but it's really only necessary if you're camping in shaded areas, typically like in the winter. So if you need to have more solar panels because each panel maybe isn't working at 100%, so low daylight hours, way too much shade or something of that nature, then the 1,000 watts is when you would want to upgrade to that. Now, if you get 1,000 watts, it would have 2 of the solar charge controllers here in this front compartment. And then you also have an LED light strip, 12-volt and USB ports, your auto leveling controls, and then also a battery kill switch. So auto leveling, let's talk about that for a minute, because that is probably the coolest feature on the Titanium series. I mean, there's so many, it's hard to pick my favorite, but especially when traveling alone, it is so great to just push a button and the whole trailer auto levels itself. as I stated earlier, when you're inside, it feels rock solid. So you're not getting that wiggle that you typically get with most travel trailers. And there's just a lot of great things about it as far as like, if you absolutely had to change a flat tire on the side of the road, we hope that never happens to anyone, but it's really tricky to find a jack and where to put it, right? So you can actually lift up one side of the trailer with the auto leveling in an emergency and change out a tire. It's strong enough to actually lift the tires off the ground. Now, that would just be for emergency purposes, but let's say you're out camping and it does lift the tires off the ground, because it will if you're in a really unlevel spot. We do recommend pulling up on blocks just to keep contact with your tires and the ground. The other thing that a person should probably mention is you do need to be unhitched from your trailer before you run the auto leveling system. Right here, you have an additional solar port. So if 600 or 1,000 watts wasn't enough, maybe you want another panel that you can run out from the shade and into the sunshine. You can do up to 200 watts right here on the side. Now, the only thing about that is you need to get a solar panel that already has a charge controller built in, because it's not going to operate through the charge controllers here in the front compartment. The other thing is, I mentioned Starlink. We recommend the Starlink Mini. That's going to be the best option for travel. And we can add in a Starlink port right here on the side. So if you want to power the port off of 12 volt versus it'll come standard with 110. So if it's 110 and you're in a park, no problem. If it's 110 and you have no problem running a generator, that's fine too. But if you want to be in the middle of nowhere, run your Starlink without turning on a generator, then you would want to have the port installed to run it off of 12 volt. And the Starlink Mini already has the router built in. So you're not trying to power two different systems. You're just powering one, and everything works great. We have one here at work that we've all been using, and it's amazing. It is so cool to just have internet at your fingertips. I also love that Starlink is very user-friendly. So if you have any issues, it'll usually tell you right on your app what it is that you need to do. Super handy for people who aren't techie like me. Because this is built on the custom 8-inch chassis, you're going to get the full fiberglass front cap that wraps all the way around the side and has a seam here at the side versus having a seam here at the corner. Rubberized, the rhino lining here on the front to protect from rock chips. We option all of ours in with the mountain storage package. That's going to be a 2-inch rear receiver hitch and a toy lock cable lock here on the front. We also order all of ours with the off-grid battery rack. So that's the tray that fills in the A-frame right here behind the propane tanks. That way we can install our powder-coated aluminum lockbox. That is something that we have custom built here in town by a local welding family business. And we spent quite a long time trying to perfect this box. The biggest we can go is 3 100 amp hour lithium batteries. So typically, if you're going to camp below freezing, you'd want heated batteries. If you're going to never camp below freezing, you can get away with non-heated batteries. But most of our customers do seem to be going out in inclement weather. So they'll go 300 amp hour heated lithiums, our powder coated lockbox, and then the Battleborn Smart Hub. The Smart Hub Bluetooths to your phone and shows you what the batteries are doing, how many days left you have of camping, if you kind of maintain the same usage, that sort of thing. So it's a nice thing to have. 2 7.5 gallon propane tanks, your front power jack. And when you auto level, this is part of the auto leveling system, and the foot will actually be off the ground. People might walk up and tell you that you have to have your jack on the ground. You do not. That is totally normal, and that is part of the auto leveling system and how it operates. So it is meant to stand alone on the 4 jacks. You also have the hitch caddy. So this is where you can hook up your safety chains, your breakaway cable, and your 7-way cord to get them up and off the ground. You have the wallless adjustable height coupler. And then right here you have satellite and cable hookup. Right here you have hatches for your valve handles for your gray and your black. And then a little light right here if you need that. Exterior shower on the Timber Ridge model. So you're going to get hot and cold with the shower head that will sit right here. So you can literally take an outside shower. City water connection. So if you don't want to fill the 80-gallon tank because maybe you're just going to a park, you can hook up to city water right there. And then another thing the titanium comes with that I feel like is a must-have is going to be the slide-out topper. So that's standard on all titanium series. That keeps all the water, dust, dirt, debris, pine cones, pine needles, snow, everything. It keeps everything off the roof of the slide out. And then when you run it in, it just all rolls off the edge. Especially cool, like I said, if you are in an area where you're going to camp in a little bit of snow, you absolutely can just run the slide out, in, and it'll just run all the snow off, put it back out, and then your slide out topper will be clear. So if you're getting heavy snowfall, just run it in and out a few times to get all that snow off. Coming around the back, you have the 4-inch steel bumper, and you can store your sewer hose right here in the end of that. This is the mountain storage package I was talking about. So that's the 2-inch rear receiver hitch. That is good for up to 250 pounds. Oh, another thing that's amazing on the titanium is going to be the backup lights. So if you get to where you're going and you need to park your camper and it's dark, that's going to illuminate the space so you can see where you're going, especially when you have the rear observation camera. So that's a super cool feature because then it's going to light up the space so that you can see what's going on in the backup camera. Full-size spare tire cover with a beautiful Thompson RV spare tire cover. And this is the Pendleton Roundup. It's currently the Pendleton Roundup right now. And that is the Pendleton Roundup bucking horse, in case anybody was wondering. And then you've got your heavy-duty ladder to get up and down off of your full walk-on roof. And this is what it's going to look like with the theater seating. So if you order it from the factory with the theater seating, it is going to have 2 what they call magazine racks. Turns out those are actually free floating, so they're not attached to the wall. So if you wanted to purchase this prototype that we have, and maybe you didn't want the 2 chairs, we can swap it out for theater seating just like we have. And then we can order the magazine racks from the factory to make it look just like it will if you were to order one from the factory. We stock all of the furniture here at Thompson RV, so if there's ever a unit on our lot that maybe doesn't have the right seating, so maybe you want chairs or a sleeper sofa or you want a different color, we have it all in stock so we can easily just swap it out. With that being said, we did some measuring and it turns out not only will the sleeper sofa fit here, but if you fudge it just a little bit this way to clear that cabinet, you actually can make it out into a bed. So for those of you that need additional sleeping, that is an option as well. I don't think that's something they're going to offer from the factory. I will tell them that it does fit with a little bit of shifting. But if they don't offer it from the factory, there's no big deal there. We can just swap out whatever we order it with the sleeper sofa that we have in stock. So thank you so much for watching our video on this brand new Timber Ridge 25 RLS. And if you have any questions, anyone here at Thompson RV can help you.